Okay, here we
As ready
go.
as we could be.
Yep, here we go. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Buenos días, mi gente de Rochester, y bienvenido a su hora informativa. Mi nombre es Perez y para mí es un verdadero placer poder estar con ustedes en esta mañana. Su hora informativa es un programa que les trae información importante que esperamos que los inspire a una mejor calidad de vida para usted y su familia. Cubrimos información sobre los campos de salud, educación, empleo, vivienda y muchos otros temas más que nos afectan como persona y como pueblo. Su hora informativa está aquí todos los sábados de 10 a 11 de la mañana y nos alegramos muchísimo de que estén con nosotros aquí en el día de hoy. Hoy tengo un poquito casa llena, tengo 3 invitados que le voy a pedir a ellas que se presenten, que nos digan su nombre, de dónde son originalmente y cuánto tiempo llevan aquí en Rochester. So I'm going to ask my guests to introduce themselves, to tell us their name, how long they've been here in Rochester, where they're originally from, and how long they've been here in Rochester. And I don't know which one of you want to start. ¿Quién quiere empezar?
Okay. Buenos días, mi nombre es Ibelis Orona. ¿En inglés o en español?
Solo en español. Vamos a empezar en español, sí.
Llevo 24 años en Rochester. Soy originalmente de Morovis, Puerto Rico.
Uh-huh.
¿Y cuál era la otra pregunta?
So, ¿qué te trajo aquí a los Estados Unidos?
¿Qué me trajo aquí a los Estados Unidos? La salud de mi papá.
Okay.
Yo me mudé cuando era una chica, a los 13
Uh-huh.
años,
Uh-huh.
y la salud de mi papá, buscando una mejoría médica, fue lo que nos trajo a Rochester.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
okay. Yo me acuerdo cuando ustedes llegaron aquí a Rochester.
Yes.
Yeah, sí, me acuerdo, era chamaquita.
Bien
Me
chiquita.
acuerdo una vez canté en mi viejo San Juan y tú y tu familia empezaron a llorar.
Me meleno cada vez que la escucho.
Me acuerdo de eso. Ok, la próxima. ¿Quién quiere ser próxima? Who wants to be next? No se miren, hablen.
Okay. I'll go next.
Okay.
I can't really speak Spanish, so.
But that's okay. You can say it in English.
Okay. Hi, my name is Liliana Colon. What were the questions again?
So what's your name, where you're originally from, and how long
Okay.
have you been here in Rochester?
Oh, okay. I've been here 16 years
Okay.
because I'm 16 years old.
Okay. So you were born and raised here.
Yep.
Okay.
Always been here.
Okay. All right. Okay. And the next one?
You're done? Okay.
I have more to say.
That's okay. We'll get back to her.
Yeah, we'll get back to you.
Back to me.
Hello, mi nombre es Ramona Colón.
Mhm.
Yo llevo en Rochester 29 años.
Okay.
Originalmente yo soy mexicana.
Okay.
So, mis padres eran migrantes.
Oh, okay.
Andaba yo
Sí.
por todos los Estados Unidos trabajando en todas partes. Mi papá falleció aquí hace 28 años, so aquí me quedé.
Okay.
Conocí a mi esposo, me casé, llevo ya 28 años con él y
Sí.
eso es.
Ramona, no sabía que tú eras mexicana.
Yo soy
Siempre
mexicana.
pensé que eras puertorriqueña, fíjate.
No, todo el mundo que me conoce a mí
Sí.
y a mi esposo, que nos conoce a primera vez,
Sí.
piensan que él es el mexicano.
Y tú eres la
Y yo soy
puertorriqueña.
la puertorriqueña.
Y eso pensé yo,
Sí.
que él era el mexicano y tú eras la
Sí,
puertorriqueña.
no.
Ramona, ¿qué trajo tus papás aquí a Rochester?
Yo en realidad vivía en Albion.
Okay.
Ahí era cuando nosotros veníamos cada
Sí.
6 meses, nos mudábamos.
Sí.
Entonces, como dije, mi papá falleció en Brockport
Okay.
de un ataque de corazón.
Oh.
Y nada más soy yo soy única.
Ok.
So, mi mamá y yo,
Ajá.
y nos quedamos aquí.
Okay.
Como mi
okay.
papá era el único,
Sí. So me imagino que iban de campo en campo, ¿verdad?
Sí, de campo en campo,
sí.
como he dicho, casi yo he viajado todos los Estados Unidos, pero no como turista.
Sí, sino como
trabajando.
trabajando.
Sí. So, en realidad yo he vivido en todas partes
Wow.
toda mi
Sí,
vida.
sí.
Hasta que me quedé aquí, conocí a mi esposo y aquí
Yeah.
llevo ya 28 años en Rochester.
Qué interesante porque te conozco por mucho tiempo
Yeah.
también, ¿verdad? y nunca sabía que eras tú la mexicana. Siempre pensé que era tu esposo.
Sí.
Y siempre veo que haces muchas comidas mexicanas, pero no,
Yeah.
pensé que era por tu esposo, no por ti.
Sí, porque yo trato en verdad de seguir mi cultura un
Ujú.
poco con mis hijos.
Sí, claro.
Es un poco difícil porque como,
Sí.
en realidad mi esposo es el puertorriqueño
Sí.
y aquí, pues, la cultura, es más puertorriqueña por mi
Sí,
esposo.
sí, claro.
Pero yo trato de tener las tradiciones con mis
Sí,
hijos, les
sí.
enseño, tú sabes, como los tres
Sí,
reyes,
sí, sí.
cosas así, pero... Es más difícil porque,
Ah,
como tú dices,
sí,
mi
sí.
esposo es el puertorriqueño, so ahora yo cocino puertorriqueño.
Sí,
so, yeah.
sí, qué chévere, qué chévere. Qué bueno, ¿verdad? Tener esas dos culturas que son bien dominantes aquí en los Estados Unidos, poder ser parte de las dos de ellas. Pero hoy en sí estamos aquí para hablar del certamen de Miss Puerto Rico de Rochester, que es un certamen cultural. So, Ibeliz, dinos un poquito qué significa eso, ¿verdad? Cuando hablamos de un certamen cultural, ¿a qué ustedes se refieren con eso?
So, la diferencia cuando nosotros hablamos del certamen de Miss Puerto Rico Rochester y lo que nos hace es diferente a los demás proyectos o organizaciones allá afuera, es que realmente es una conexión con la cultura. Nuestra meta es que las jóvenes, las niñas, nuestras latinas puertorriqueñas aprendan de la isla, aprendan de la cultura, aprendan de la música, se conecten con sus raíces, se desarrollen ellas de acuerdo a la cultura que nosotros tenemos, se conecten con nuestros ancestros, ¿verdad? Con los padres, con los abuelos, con los tíos, y es un puente, yo lo veo de esta manera, es un puente a las raíces, es un puente a la isla, especialmente para niñas que nunca han tenido la oportunidad de poder pisar la isla, de poder abrazar lo que es el Mar Caribe, pero de una forma u otra poderlas conectar a través de esta organización.
Sí, me acuerdo cuando fui miembro de la Junta de Directores del Festival Puertorriqueño, una de mis primeras tareas que me dieron fue ayudar con el certamen. Y se me hizo bien difícil porque el certamen no era algo que nunca había hecho, que si le voy a ser bien sincera, no tenía mucho interés. Right? It wasn't my interest, o sea que no era algo que había hecho anteriormente. Y me acuerdo cuando vine a la Junta, vine más para las actividades de los niños porque ese sí es mi campo, ¿verdad? So, me acuerdo que me dieron la tarea y una de las cosas que primero aprendí del certamen fue que no es un certamen de belleza. Cuando hablamos de un certamen cultural, no estamos hablando de un certamen de belleza. Y casi siempre los certámenes lo conocemos, ¿verdad?, mundialmente como certámenes de belleza. Pero esto era cultural, o sea, que era una manera en que las jóvenes podían demostrar su cultura en un tipo de arte, de cualquier tipo de arte, ¿verdad? So, para mí eso me chocó y creo que eso fue más lo que me interesó y obviamente como cualquier tarea que me dan, me eché de lleno, hice todo lo posible y me alegro mucho de que ahora el festival tiene, ¿verdad?, sus coordinadoras que pueden, y han habido varias a través de los años, pero que lo han podido mantener. So, I want to ask the Queen. And by the way, we have the Queen here with us. She didn't give us her title, but she is the Miss Puerto Rico of Rochester Queen. I want to ask you because one of the things we were talking about was that this pageant is very different from normal pageants or pageants that people kind of socialize with beauty. This was a cultural pageant. So tell me a little bit about your experience, and especially when it came to the culture part. And for you in particularly, because you're 50-50, right? You're 50 Puerto Rican and 50 Mexican. So what did that mean to you? And what things did you maybe have learned, or, what kind of takeaways have you this pageant provided to you?
Okay.
That's a loaded question.
It's a lot of questions.
Take your
there.
time. Take your time answering it because it was a lot.
Okay. Like it came into my head and it all just came out. Experience that I took away from this I guess we'll start with that.
Yeah.
It made me become more outspoken and actually like a part of my community, whereas before the pageant I wasn't really active in it. I didn't really do anything about it, but you know, now as the queen I've like become more active and such. And the 50-50 part, I think it's really cool, honestly, to say that I'm Mexican and Puerto Rican. Not many people can say that about themselves. And to learn about the two different cultures, they're both beautiful, obviously. It's just...
What was one thing, though, with the Puerto Rican culture that you may not have known, that you learned, you know, throughout this pageant that has really stuck with you?
Okay. I had to learn about my town, Calle.
Hey, that's my town, too. That's my parents'
really?
town, Calle.
I had learned a fact about it. It's the Twin Peaks that they have. And
La Sierra de Calle. Yeah.
That's their name?
Well, they call it Las Tetas de Calle, but the
That's what
proper
I
name
learned.
is La
That's what I
Sierra de
learned.
Calle.
Yes.
That's what really stuck with me.
Yeah.
This is where culture comes in, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, because for many, many, many years, they were known as Las Tetas de Calle, which means breasts, right? It's like a slang word for breast, but then later on, you know, people started calling them La Sierra de Calle. So what was it about that really kind of stuck with you, other than the fact that it does look like the breast of a woman, you know, which is beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Women's breasts are beautiful, so there's nothing wrong with that. She's looking a little embarrassed over there. But what was it about it that kind of like you were like, this is interesting?
What I guess, I don't know. I'm not sure how to put it into words, really. I guess it's just what really stuck to me with it, because this lady that helped me through the pageant, she was like, well, you know, through your introduction, you should say something like a fun fact about Calle. So I was like, okay, I'll search something up about it. And so I guess that's what really stuck about it. Just like, you know, in case somebody asks, oh, what's Calle about? And I'm like, it's about that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's actually a beautiful mountain that when you look at it from afar, it looks like the breasts of a woman, like a woman laying down in the breasts there. So, you know, nothing to be embarrassed about. It's just the beauty of nature, right? It's just the beauty of nature. You know, si alguien quisiera saber un poquito más del certamen, you know, ¿cuáles serían las cualificaciones? ¿Qué tendrían, Ibeliz, qué tendrían las personas saber sobre este certamen para poder participar?
Pues nosotros estamos buscando jóvenes, ¿verdad? Que sean féminas, que estén en la high school, que estén en la superior. Estamos abriéndolo, lo habíamos hecho al principio de 15 a 17 años y ahora lo hemos expandido un poquito más de noveno hacia adelante. Las niñas tienen que ser por lo menos 50% puertorriqueñas, que uno de los padres sea puertorriqueño. Deberían tener un buen estatus académico en la escuela. Y cuando yo hablo de esto a veces discourage, esto a veces me...
las desanima.
Algunas chicas se desaniman, pero cuando yo hablo de excelencia académica, no estamos hablando de que necesitas tener un 4 puntos y si no, no puedes cualificar. Estamos hablando de que seas consistente en la escuela, de que participes, de que vayas a tus clases, de que entregues tu tarea y si hay algún tipo de ayuda que se necesita, de hecho es una de las cosas que podemos hacer, podemos apoyar en lo académico. Lo hemos hecho en otras ocasiones. El año pasado tuvimos un buen grupito y una del feedback que recibimos de la consejera de la escuela fue que desde que comenzó el pageant, que comenzó la trayectoria del certamen, sus notas subieron y pudieron ver el impacto positivo. No me quiero hacer esa explicación porque es algo que no quiero que las niñas se me sientan como que desanimadas porque es algo que se puede trabajar. Ya dije que sea either de Monroe County, del condado de Monroe también. Tenemos el condado de Orleans y El otro se me olvidó, from the top of my head, pero te lo consigo más lueguito.
Sí.
Básicamente esos son los requisitos. Una niña que sea por lo menos 50% puertorriqueña, con uno de los padres puertorriqueños, que esté bien académicamente en la high school y que tenga un buen, que pueda cumplir con los requisitos y con el tour y las cosas que nosotros hacemos.
Sí.
Si es una niña que está en superior, que se gradúa, una de las cosas que nosotros hablamos y planificamos es si la niña se va a quedar en Rochester, porque van a haber ciertos compromisos que van a tener que hacer. Si la niña se gradúa y se queda en Rochester, pues es también abre la oportunidad para seniors que puedan participar.
Sí. Sé que no pueden tener hijos, no pueden estar casadas.
No pueden estar casadas, gracias.
Sí.
Gracias. No pueden estar casadas, no pueden tener hijos. Y
tiene que haber nacido una niña.
Sí, tiene que haber nacido una niña, fémina.
Sí. Sé que, eso eran parte de los requisitos también. Me apunto, ¿verdad? Me apunto, voy a ser parte del certamen. ¿Qué debo de esperar? ¿Cómo se ve eso?
Para participar en el certamen, nosotros comenzamos con una orientación. Hicimos una orientación en noviembre. Vamos a tener la segunda orientación en enero. Enero 7 va a ser la orientación y esta vez la vamos a hacer por Zoom. La vamos a hacer vía online, remotamente, también para abrir la oportunidad a personas que no puedan llegar hasta la orientación y a chicas que necesiten ayuda con la transportación.
Yeah.
Luego de la orientación, en la orientación se le dan más detalles de todas las cosas que necesitan hacer para ser parte del evento. Se le dan todas estas explicaciones de cuáles son los requisitos. Las chicas presentan un poco de su experiencia para que las personas puedan saber más o menos qué esperar. Y luego nosotros nos reunimos por alrededor de 8 o 9 semanas por ahí, give or take, donde las chicas participan en talleres de liderazgo, talleres de oratoria, talleres de comunicación, talleres de cultura puertorriqueña, talleres de música como bomba y plena para que se conecten con su cultura. Y luego de esto, de que las niñas han sido bien preparadas, pues tenemos nuestro certamen que el año que viene vendría siendo para marzo.
Okay.
Para marzo 28.
Oh, wow. Temprano
Sí.
en el año.
Sí, estamos planificando que sea algo tempranito en el año. Tenemos un plan para mayo, si Dios permite. Logramos conseguir recursos para hacer un taller durante Spring Break, para poder hacer un taller de liderazgo que las chicas van a planificar para poder seguir expandiendo el liderazgo y la cultura en la comunidad.
So I want to ask the question in English for those that are listening that may only speak English. So I sign up, right? I sign up to become part of the pageant. What should I be expecting?
You want to target that one in English?
Oh, okay. You should be expecting a lot of hours, both like practicing both at the workshops and out of the workshops, like practicing dances, practicing your talent, practicing like publicly speaking your introduction, for example, becoming more confident. That's what you should expect. What else should you expect?
Yeah.
Do you say that?
So, we talk about the orientation. You will go to a first orientation. We are going to have the second orientation in January 7th. And during that orientation, the ladies will receive all of the information that they need, all of the requirements. They will hear from the queen and the princess. Parents will hear from the parents involved, because parent involvement is super important in this process. And they will be able to see kind of a slideshow of all of the things and activities that the ladies have been participating in. And after that orientation, we will, give them the calendar with the workshops, and the ladies go through like a 8-9 week period of preparation, where they take lessons and workshops on community community service, communication, culture, music. They practice, like Lily said, they practice their talent. Talent is one of the most important aspects of the pageant for them to showcase the talent that's connected to the island. And after weeks of preparation, of course, we have, the big day, the big pageant day, where they're able to, expose everything that they've been working for.
Yeah. Lily, what really inspired you to participate, and what were you hoping to gain from this experience?
I guess what really inspired me was the past queen, Mariana. She's one of my friends, and she goes to my school. So she kind of told me about the pageant and said, "Oh, Lily, maybe you should consider joining this. You get great experience from this. You can, become more active, learn how to publicly speak.
Yeah.
Scholarship money is also included in that, which I thought was very big, considering I wanted to go to college." And, my mom, she pushed me, she encouraged me. She said, that you can do anything you want, if you put your heart to it, if you can achieve it, you can believe it, type of thing. And so.
Yeah. What do you think was one of the hardest things for you while you were going through the pageant? Like what became maybe a little bit of a challenge for you?
Honestly, I wanted to actually quit the pageant.
Okay.
I
Okay. Well, you're being honest.
Yes. I didn't.
And why was that? What happened?
I thought that it wasn't really for me. I thought like, oh my God, these girls are so better than me. They can do it, but I can't. And so that's the main thing. I wanted to quit because
What
I
did you
couldn't do
see
it.
in them that you weren't seeing in yourself?
Beauty is the main thing.
See, but you forgot what I said at the very beginning.
I
It was
know.
not a beauty contest.
I know. But it was just like, these girls seem more outspoken than me. And that was the thing. I was very shy at the time.
Yeah,
Past me would never be doing this right now at all.
Yeah.
Like, obviously,
Okay.
I'm still shaking a little
Yeah.
bit doing this, but, I would have shied away from this at all. So,
Yeah.
big opportunity there.
Yeah. And I hear that a lot, like in the years that I was involved with the pageant, and still till today, I hear that a lot, that girls were extremely shy. They participated maybe because their family pushed them a little bit and wanted them to do it, type of thing. And that's okay, right? And then once they get there, they realize, oh, okay, I can do these things. Oh, okay, I can learn this. Oh, this is really interesting about my hometown, or whatever the case may be. And I think that's one of the things that to me was more rewarding. It wasn't so much who the winner was, but more who really came out of their shell during that process. Because we've seen a lot of girls that were extremely, extremely shy, like you are. And then all of a sudden, they're taking on tasks, they're talking in public, they're being engaged in their community and things of that nature. And so I think that's one of the beauty about this pageant, that it really helps people come out of their shell. And you thought you wanted to quit, and you ended up being the winner. So what do you think happened? Like, what transformed in you that made you the actual winner?
I guess it was my mom, of course.
Yeah.
She, I kept persisting her, Mom, I want to quit. I don't want to do this anymore. But she was like, Lily, you're going to do this. I don't care what you're saying. You can do this. You can win. I was like, oh, maybe I can do this. And, after so many times going there, I actually found it like fun, having something to do when I didn't really have a lot of schoolwork, putting in the work and putting in the practice. I found that fun and enjoyable, actually.
Yeah. Ramona, tell us a little bit about the experience, because I know you were a very involved parent. I admire you and your commitment to helping Lily, right, to accomplish this. Tell us a little bit about your experience, and what is one of the things that you also found challenging, but was able to overcome as a parent participating in this?
So my experience, well, I, mainly pushed her because, I always push my kids to always, pursue something.
And if you start something, you want them to finish it.
Yeah. So I always tell them, no matter what, don't give up.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for you, it's not for you, but at least you tried.
Right.
So through the whole experience, the only challenging part was maybe the scheduling.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only challenging part. As me personally, I like to, know ahead of time because, besides Lily, I have two other kids, and obviously I have my husband.
Right.
And, I work 3 jobs. So, so it's a little hard. But that was the only part that I think I found challenging was the scheduling. Everything else, I enjoyed it, especially seeing her going through, the workshops and learning, this other part, culture, like I said, because I'm Mexican, but learning more about, her dad's side.
Right.
So I really enjoyed that for her. And, through the whole journey of her, the way that she has, changed, from, 7-8 months ago, to now. I'm very proud of her, so.
Yeah. And I'm sure she couldn't have done it without you, and that's the schedule is so Ivelis, tell us a little bit about the schedule, because it does, as time goes by, as those weeks go by and you get closer to the pageant, you're practicing more, you're doing more, and something that maybe if someone else can talk about as well is that you're doing what the pageant is asking you to do as a group, but there's a lot that you have to do on your own.
Correct.
So talk a little bit about the group, and then talk a little bit about things that the girls have to do on their own, because that's important too.
Yeah. So the schedule, it is something. It is a commitment, right? Everything that's worth doing in life requires time and effort, and that's something that I always share with the ladies. We meet once a week for about 2 to 3 hours, depending on, the workshop and how things go. My goal is to always try to let the families know in advance of things and events that will happen. I always tell them that there's certain events that they just kind of pop up out of the blue, or we get some invitations with a short time in advance. And I always try to, reach out and let them know with advance that, we might have like events that pop up, especially during Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yeah.
During Hispanic Heritage Month, we receive, and thank you for highlighting that, Ida, that, we receive the invitation sometimes a day or two before the event, right?
Yeah.
And that's not something that we could, kind of
Control.
control.
Yeah,
you can't control that. So that's, I like to lead with transparency, and that's something that I let people know in advance. But those are the moments that, in my mind, are those are the efforts that are worth doing. And later on, when we start getting closer to pageants, depending on how the ladies are and how the process is, we might start getting together, twice a week instead of once a week. The ladies, like Lily said, the ladies not only go to, we gather every week for about 2 to 3 hours, but they also need to spend time dedicating themselves to practice their talent, to practice their introductions. They do have to do an essay, and it's, and share a little bit about themselves and what they would like to do if they're a winner, and how their culture plays a part in their lives. They need to go through an interview process, right? And all of these things are things that they need to get ready for within the group, and obviously on their own and with their parents. And I think that when parents are involved, the experience, it's richer for the girls.
I know that the talent and the essay are 2 things that they have to do on their own.
Correct.
They cannot share with anyone else.
Correct.
Because the talent is kind of like a surprise element to the pageant, right? So the day of the pageant, they display their talent. And so it's something that they can't speak with each other.
Correct.
So they can't give it away type of
Yes.
thing. The essay is usually on the talent that they're doing, right? So
Yes.
if they pick a talent, they're going to study that, they're going to research that, and they're going to write about it. And those things are important, right? We talked earlier about being well in good standing at school, and that's one of the reasons, because you do have to write something, and it really should come from you, right?
Correct.
Because in the interview, they might ask you, because the judges get to see your essay, they read it,
Yes.
and then they can ask you questions during the interview specifically about your essay. So you got to be able to speak about this essay. It has to roll off your tongue, right? You have to be able to speak about it. And I just want to highlight that, because I think sometimes people get stuck with that, right? And so you have to know how to write an essay. You have to be able to speak about your essay. You have to be able to learn how to research an essay, which are all skills that hopefully you're getting at school. So that's why it's important that people are in good standing at school. And I'm sure that Lily can probably speak to this a little bit, but even though you become friends with these girls, even though you create a bond, which I've seen some that are absolutely beautiful. I've seen some girls that I remember in my early years with the pageant that are still friends today and still connect and are really close with each other today. So you do create that bond, but you can't forget that it's still a competition, right? And there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers. And so, you kind of have to know how to manage that, right? And so that's why the talent part is kind of like a secret, right? Because you don't want everybody doing the same thing or knowing what your talent is and that type of thing. So it's kind of like, one of those awkward things that even though you're creating this bond between everyone, there's still the element of competition. And so people have to remember that. I just quiero hacerte la pregunta en español. Sabemos que el horario, ¿verdad?, puede ser un poquito difícil, y sabemos también que en el certamen hay ciertas cosas que van a ser como grupo, pero también hay ciertas cosas que van a ser separado, o sea, aparte, y el talento, y ellos tienen que escribir un essay de su talento. So, háblanos un poquito de eso y, cómo hay que separar las dos cosas.
Para las chicas, como estás acabando de decir, esto es un proceso que nosotros esperamos que ellas puedan crear hermandad, que puedan crear sisterhood. Para nosotros es bien importante. Yo soy personalmente la que yo creo en synergy, juntos llegamos más lejos.
Sí, claro.
Pero como dices, sigue siendo una competencia. So, para mí es un challenge bonito el ayudar a las chicas a navegar esta rama de que son las dos cosas, ¿verdad? Encontrar ese balance de que ellas se apoyen, de que ellas se pongan contentas las unas por las otras y de que también puedan dar lo mejor que ellas puedan dar para ganar el certamen. Como comentaste, parte del proceso es que las chicas hagan una entrevista con los jueces. Los jueces se reúnen con cada una de las candidatas individualmente, por lo menos una semana antes del día del evento, antes del concurso, y se le hace una entrevista acerca de su talento, acerca del essay, del essay personal que ellos hacen. Este essay, cada uno de los jueces se lleva una copia, la estudia, la corrige hasta cierto punto para poder preparar las preguntas para la entrevista. Y es un proceso que otra vez yo pude ver a las chicas apoyándose las unas a las otras, porque como van una por una, ellas se ponen, un poco nerviosas, Pero ahí fue donde yo personalmente pude ver la hermandad en el certamen.
Sí.
Cuando se ponían nerviosas, cuando literalmente temblaban y una a las otras le ayudaba a decir afirmaciones, like, you got this, tú puedes hacerlo, tú lo puedes hacer, you could do this, tú puedes hacerlo. Ver las unas a las otras, decir, ayudarla, like, guide them through, like, respira, vamos, respira conmigo, para mí esos son los momentos que, wow, esto vale la pena, para mí estos son los momentos que hacen la diferencia y como mencionaste al principio, crea lazos que duran y permanecen años después de este concurso.
Sí, claro. Me acuerdo al principio, cuando empecé, hubieron grupos de chicas que aún se mantienen conectadas, son amigas, comparten, o sea que es algo, ¿verdad?, que dura todo el resto de su vida.
Sí.
Una de las cosas que hablamos en inglés fue que el talento es algo secreto, en la que no se comparte con nadie. Eso, dinos un poquito de eso.
El talento es una de las cosas más importantes para el certamen. Es la expresión cultural de las chicas. Y es un proceso que ellas se guardan, ¿verdad? Que tienen guardaditos para ellas, practican en su casa. Si nosotros nos podemos reunir, podemos ayudar, pero siempre individualmente para que cada una de las chicas, mantengan ese sentido sorpresa a la hora del certamen. Y ahí es donde las chicas realmente tienen toda la creatividad, tienen toda la libertad de utilizar su creatividad para enseñar su cultura, para conectarse con la isla, para enseñarle al jurado y al pueblo, ¿verdad?, a las personas que llegan al concurso, su conexión con Puerto Rico y cómo ellas pueden realmente representar la isla en la comunidad durante el año. El talento es algo que ellas luego practican y llevan hacia la comunidad en diferentes eventos. So, Lily hizo una bomba, bailó una bomba durante el concurso. So, es uno de los talentos, esa pieza. Es una de las piezas que hemos podido llevar a diferentes lugares en la comunidad para conectarla con el pueblo y para conectar el pueblo con ella.
Sí. Lily, you did a bomba. I remember your talent very well. What brought you to do such a very rooted, right? Because when we think about the pageant and we think about the cultural expression part of it, it could be anything, right? It could be singing, it could be poetry, it could be, just about anything, right? I've seen girls do a tremendous variety and diversity when it comes to their talent, but you chose something very, very rooted. Which is a bomba, which is not something easy to do. What was your experience preparing for that? And why did you choose that? Like, why did you choose a bomba from all the other things that you could have chosen?
Okay. Most of my actions, they only come from, I think this is really cool. So the way I learned about this, though, was one of the workshops was actually about the music. And so the group that I played with actually came and they kind of showed us like, this is bomba, this derives from our African ancestors type of thing. And the experience was fun. It was absolutely fun to actually go to their houses and spending hours with them to practice it. Having like
because you had never done it before.
I had never done it.
You had to learn it from scratch, right?
Yes, it took a lot of steps, took a lot of time, going home and practicing it afterwards. And it was just fun. I loved it.
I like the fact that you said, when you learned about it, you thought it was cool. So I love that aspect.
Like,
right?
Of course, I learned about it. Like, of course, I go after, what is bomba actually?
Right.
It's the dance I did was actually Sika, one of the many forms that they have. And so, like, I think it's cool. I researched it. I learned about it. And so I just thought it was.
I like, I like the fact that you found it cool from the very beginning, right? The minute you heard about it, and bomba is a very, you have to do it in a very particular way. And usually people think that the drums drives the dancer, but it's actually the dancer who drives the drums. So depending on what you do with your skirt, how you maybe move your shoulders, or maybe you move your hips, then you're indicating to the drummers what they need to play. So it's not an easy thing to do. And I thought that was really cool, that this being your first time being in a pageant, right? And that you're fairly young, that you picked something that was so rooted to the Puerto Rican culture, because sometimes that's not easy to do. And so I congratulate you, and obviously, it served you well, because you became the queen. But I want to ask Ibelis a little bit about the points, because there's different points for different things. I want to say that the cultural expression has a very high point.
Yes.
And the reason why I want to talk about this is because in the past, and I don't know about recently, but in the past, we always had, at every pageant, it didn't matter. At every pageant, we had a parent question: why did my daughter did not win?
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes people go based on because the audience, all they're seeing at that day is the girls presenting themselves.
Correct.
If they have a group dance, maybe that group dance or that group opening, whatever that may be, and then their cultural expression and their elegance and poise, right? So that's pretty much what the pageant, what the audience is going to see, but they don't know everything else in the background. So tell us a little bit about the points, and, sometimes that stuff that you don't see is what may keep that person from being the winner. So because I've had this conversation so many times with parents, where I have to show them, obviously not all of the contestants' points, because you can't do that, but I would show their child, their daughter's points, and be like, unfortunately, she did not get a lot of points here, or this, she didn't do very well here, and that's what kept her from winning. Because what people see and then what happens in the background is two very different things.
Correct. Yes. And before, if I may, before I answer that question, I just want to highlight before I forget. Before I forget, Lily was saying that she had the opportunity to learn about bomba and throughout the workshops, and I want to highlight that that's one of the things that I enjoyed about the pageant is connecting the ladies with, with the community, with mentors, because it, in my mind, and I think that Lily it's kind of proof of that, if you will, that these are the moments that really change our ladies' lives, right?
Yeah.
Connecting with the community, learning who are the mentors out there, and allow them to have a good relationship with people that are older than them, that could kind of guide them in life and in the community. So that's something that I want to highlight as well, because we do have some great people that volunteer their time to be with the ladies. I mean, we have Miss Blackman, she's the CEO of EMH, and she does Latina leadership, and I mean that's a blessing alone. And we have international speakers that they do the communication piece. So again, it's a great
the workshops are important.
It's a great way to connect with mentors in the community. And for your question, like you said, this is the process that starts way beyond before the actual date, before the actual pageant date. Just so everybody knows, the judges is something that the judges are chosen, and that is also kind of kept in secret. Nobody knows who the judges are, because we want to be able to maintain, the integrity of the process. And one of the things that we try to do as well is to make sure that the judges don't have any type of relationship with any of the ladies.
Yep.
Especially, because we are a small, not that small, but like a small Latino community.
Yeah.
And we kind of know everybody,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, everybody knows everybody.
Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
But we do try to maintain the integrity of that. During pageant day, nobody, interacts with them.
Right.
They are always with a board member, and that's usually our president. So to make sure that they don't mingle with anybody or that they are influencing in any way.
Yeah.
Like you said, the ladies are score in their interview process. Their score with they receive separate points for their essay. They receive points for their commitment every time that they show up. So that's something that we also give to the judges, their attendance, their participation. We are trying not to have the opening number be judged and be part of the tally, right? That's the part that we want them to just enjoy and relax and just not think about anything.
Yeah.
But the rest of the pageant component, like you mentioned, the elegance and poise, their talent, their introduction, how much they project their voice,
Right.
all of these things.
Their final question.
Their final question.
Yeah.
Their final question is important, right? And all of this are things that the judges tally up, and that's how we get our winner, right? We just add those numbers up. And what I like about the pageant is the transparency piece. If any parent wants to see, the scores of their child, we are always willing to show, the scores that they have for their child. Let me just be specific.
Right.
It's for their child, right? So to me, that's, again, transparency is important to me, and that's something that I thank you, Ida, for highlighting, because it is something that we do see a lot.
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off, but
No, that's okay.
I wanted to say that your behavior. Did you talk about behavior?
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that like your actions kind of speak louder than words, type of thing. So your behavior is also kind of being counted. Like, say if you're, if you're mean, the judges can kind of know that you were being mean, type of thing. It's like your behavior is also counted.
Yeah. So your positive attitude.
Have a positive
being
attitude.
Positive attitude, being, friendly and helpful, and
Don't show up being mean. Type of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think I don't think that'll even happen that much if, obviously those are things that the coordinator can address fairly quickly. And hopefully, you guys are talking about this as you're meeting, what it is, what it means to be, part of a community, right? Because you guys kind of become a small community within the pageant. So how do you treat each other? Like, how do we treat each other, right? How do we respect each other? And that's part of, the integrity and the responsibility of someone that we want to represent us, right? We want someone that's going to represent us in a positive way, with integrity, with responsibility, with respect, with humility. I mean, all these different things that we look, towards a potential queen. And so, hopefully those things are being talked about. And I hope that no one signs up thinking that they're going to be mean to anybody because that's just not part of what the pageant is all about. So I'm hoping that, people come with a positive attitude. So tell us, kind of wrap it up a little bit, tell us again, when is the next orientation? How can people contact you? Where do they need to go for this information? If they have any questions, right? Because there might be people that have questions about it. Where can people go for that?
Our orientation is January 7th. Like Eva said, it'll be happening through Zoom, which can be found like through a link in our Facebook page. What is our Facebook page?
Yeah. Miss Puerto Rico,
Miss Puerto Rico, Rochester, yes. And, if they have questions, they can always contact Eva Lee's. Their number's there. You can always talk through the Facebook page. Get in contact with people,
Yeah.
So anyone interested needs to go online and find this information online.
Yes,
Yes.
online. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
We are going to, like I said, orientation is January 7th. There's going to be a Zoom link there in our social media page. And the start of the workshops will be January 14th.
Okay.
And our pageant day is March 28th, Saturday, March 28th at Edison Tech.
Okay. So you already have a date for the pageant.
Correct. Yes.
And you have a date for orientation. So
Yes.
at least those 2 dates, if you are interested, you could start writing them down.
Yes,
Because
correct.
they will be important. Ramona, any last thoughts for parents? Like that you want to give some kind of advice to parents that are thinking they want their child to participate in this pageant?
Well, I mean, it's fun, so I encourage if you have a daughter that, is between the age, it's fun. Come and check it out, join. Believe me, you learn a lot. Like for me personally, I learned, a lot more stuff, Puerto Rican culture and stuff, than what I knew. So personally for me as a parent, I enjoyed it. Seeing all the girls going through all the workshops and stuff. So don't look at it as like being a pageant, like a contest. It's more like come join, learn more about your culture, represent it, feel it, because I know at the end of the day, there is a winner, but there's more to that, that you can take from it. So like for me as a parent, I enjoyed it, seeing everything, learning more stuff. And at the end, the winner, there is 2 winners, a queen and a princess. And so many things come out of it after, for me, for Lily, so many stuff have come out from that, it's amazing, all the stuff that she has been doing in the community and, going out there and, doing
The people she's
people
met and
yeah.
connections she's made.
Yeah, so
and-
it's I've enjoyed it, and I know that in the long run, later on, and when she gets older, she's gonna be like, oh my God,
She'll probably appreciate it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I encourage parents to talk to your daughters, encourage them to come out. It is a lot of fun activities that they do, through the workshops and everything. So I'm sure we're gonna be going to like high schools and stuff, promoting it. So we want to have more representation out there.
And
definitely.
if I may, we talk about having 2 winners, but I also want to highlight that there are others, ¿cómo es que? Ay, se me olvidó la palabra ahora mismo. We do have other things that we highlight in the competition, right? We have Miss Profesional, and we have prizes that we have Miss Profesional,
Fotogénica,
Miss Fotogénica,
Comunidad.
Miss Excelencia Académica, right? There's about 7 or 8 different prizes besides, beyond us coronating the queen and the princess. So there's a lot of things that the rest of the contestants could take away from the process.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I appreciate all of you being here with us today and bringing this information. I'm hoping that you guys have a good turnout for your orientation on January 7th. People can go online and get that information. I like to end the show by asking if there's a phrase or a saying that you grew up with that still resonates with you today, and I'm hoping that each of you have one. So we'll start with Ramona. We'll go down the line.
Well, mine is, always be grateful for what you have. For me personally, I lived in a car for a long time. So now I make sure that I tell my kids, just be grateful, that you have a roof, that you have food, because not a lot of people have that. So that's my.
Yeah. Lily, do you have one?
She kind of stole my answer there.
Okay.
It was going to be always be grateful for what you have. But another thing I'd say then, to be a little funny then, would be don't shower after you eat. You have to wait 30 minutes.
Okay.
She always tells me that.
Yeah. Don't shower, don't get in the pool,
Yeah.
that type of thing. That's too funny. Yeah. What about you, Evelis?
So I was raised with refranes. My mom, that's how my mommy speaks.
Yep.
So there's two that she will always tell me, and I kind of repeat it to my kids now. It's, dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres.
Yep.
Y el que anda con cojo al año cojea.
Oh, okay.
Yes, those
I
are-
never heard that one before.
Yes,
Never
el
heard
que
that
anda
one.
con cojo al año cojea. So those are the two.
So
that-
don't get bad habits.
Yes.
Don't hang out with
Yeah.
anyone with bad habits.
Yes,
That's pretty much what that's
yes,
saying.
pretty
yeah.
much is the same too.
Sí,
You know,
sí. Eso nunca,
refranes.
nunca lo había oído, fíjate. That's the
Yes.
first time que oigo ese.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for being here. I wish you all the very best. Ivelisse, I hope you have a good turnout
Thank you.
for this new year for the pageant. You know, Lily, you have represented us up to this point very, very well. I'm very proud of you. You know, thank you for all your time and your effort and all your hard work, you know, and Ramona, you too as well, because I know she would not have been able to do this without your help. And it really takes the whole village, right, to help these young ladies be able to accomplish what they want to accomplish. Gracias a todos por acompañarnos en esta mañana. Lo esperamos nuevamente el próximo sábado de 10 a 11 de la mañana en Poder 97.1 FM, la única estación radial latina, dueños y operados por latinos, por la comunidad, para la comunidad. Esto ha sido su hora informativa, trayendo la información importante que esperamos que los inspire a una mejor calidad de vida. Que pasen una linda semana. Hasta la próxima, mi gente.